what's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 476 of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. Continuing our series this week on essential chord progressions. Got a really fun one for you this week with a really fun backing track. So if you haven't gone back and checked out the first two episodes in this series, that would be episode 474 and 475, suggest that you do that. It'll just give you a little bit of continuity. In episode 474, I explain a lot about like the philosophy behind this and why I'm presenting this to you. So just give you some frame of reference. And by the way, those two episodes have absolutely essential chord progressions in them. So I highly recommend checking out those episodes, but let's dive into today's chord progression. So today's is going to be a nice and spread out, slow chord progression with a beautiful feel behind it. And I want to talk about the feel first. So I want to tell you a little story about like sort of how I started practicing with this particular feel and some of the benefits of it. So what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be practicing with like a slow halftime sort of hip hop feel or soul feel or R&B feel. All those things are kind of interrelated. And the way I sort of discovered the power of this was that I was at a jazz camp in high school, summer youth music school at University of New Hampshire, and I had a great director by the name of Dan Buckfitch. And he was directing the honors jazz band that particular summer. And he brought in this one tune on the set that was, I think it was between like 250 and 300 BPM. And it was swing, right? And we were just having such a miserable time because everybody, us being high school students meant we were pretty green at playing jazz. And most of us, in our home bands, we hadn't had to play at tempos that fast. So it felt so frantic. And everybody in the band was just trying to take care of business as far as like getting their part out and trying to keep up with the time that, wow, it was just bad. So what Dan did to remedy this situation, and believe me, it really, really worked, is he asked the drummer, okay, so let's imagine that the time's going by like this. So this is the quarter note. This is the actual tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's somewhere between, it's probably like 270 or something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. He said, hey, drummer, I want you to play boom, 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 boom. So see what that is it's kind of like a quarter time feel almost. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what you end up feeling. But the music is still going by 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what it did was it relaxed the entire band so much that we were able to play it a million times better because we were hearing from the rhythm section instead of like a super frantic ding 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 ding. We heard this really relaxed boom, 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 boom. Now this all relates back to like what a lot of people talk about, which is the big beat. So when tempos start going by really, really fast, we don't want to try to keep up with the quarter note. Instead, we want to just feel the time on a bigger level. So you might just think about it as beat 1. So again, if the tempo is going by that fast, that's essentially what we were doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 became 1, 2, 3, 4. We were actually feeling every bar. And the results were just tremendous, and that always stuck with me. And I've used that with a bunch of young bands and older bands that I've worked with, and it's amazing what it does. So what I often do is I'll create my own or find these sort of like halftime, quarter time, funk, hip hop, soul, R&B feels, and I'll practice playing sort of fast jazz tempos, but at this nice, relaxed lilt. And I'm constantly amazed by how much better I sound, and I'm constantly amazed by how much better my students sound when they're using this kind of thing. Okay, so there's the feel, and we'll obviously hear that later. But now let's talk about the progression, because after all, this is all about progressions. But, we can't do anything with harmony without addressing rhythm and feel. as well. All right, so let's get down to business with the harmony. So this week we're going to be in the key of concert E flat. I've had you work in the key of concert C, this key of concert F, and this week we're going to go with the key of concert E flat so that you're rounding out some of your keys. All right, so this chord progression goes like this. We're in the key of E flat major. We play the 1 chord. And then what we do is we come down and we play D minor 7 flat 5 to G7 flat 9. To C minor 7. Then we go F minor 7 to B flat 7, and then we're back to E flat major 7. Anybody catch what that was? Well, how's E flat major and C minor related? Well, I just kind of gave it away. C minor is the relative minor of E flat major, right? And this is a chord movement that happens in countless tunes, is that we get the 1 chord and then we hear the root motion go down a half step, which kicks off a 2-5 to the relative minor. And then the thing is, we're just using the 2-5 in the key of E flat to get back to that original key. So let's hear it without me blabbing over it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That probably sounds very familiar to you, right? Or if not very familiar, I'm sure there's some recesses of that, the sound of that progression somewhere back there if you've been listening to jazz for any period of time at all. Okay, so that's the progression. It's very, very simple. But of course, what we want to do first is we want to work on some voice leading. And this week for the Patreon members, I have 3 different voice leading examples with this particular progression because I think all 3 are really important. So the first one starts on the 7th of the E flat major chord. And it sounds like this. I'll spare you from the details because I want to get through all of them. You can check them out on the PDF. So it sounds like this with the root and the voice leading. Hear all those common tones in there? That really tells you something about this progression and what you can do over it, okay? Because remember, all the chords are related, okay? All right, here's voice leading number 2. This one starts on the 3rd of the 1 chord, and it sounds like this. Wow, a lot of common tones in that one as well, huh? Isn't that nice? Really, really beautiful. And again, the fact that these all have a bunch of common tones to them, that's really, really super important. Okay, here's the 3rd voice leading. It starts on the 5th of the 1 chord. I had a lot of choices in that one for more colorful notes, but I just went with the obvious stuff and the stuff that's sort of in the key, all right? But you can experiment with that stuff and find actually more interesting voice leading, and I highly suggest you do that. Okay, let's check out the full backing track so that you can kind of hear this, and I'll talk a little bit more about the feel. So you hear how I've really spread spread out the chords so that you get these big, long periods of time on each chord, because I'm almost thinking about it as being double time, right? Or quadruple time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the beautiful thing about this feel is that you can do so many different subdivisions over it, and I feel like it stays very natural feeling, because you could be here, dot 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 dot, or you could be here, dot 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 dot, or you could be here, daka 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 dot 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 dot. Shadula dot 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 dig dig dot do dot 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 dig do do dig do dot dig dot do dot shadig do dot dot dig dig got bunch down dig dig dot shut dot 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 but do dot dot do dot 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 shut dot dot but then don't do that shut dum 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 dig go. You can even do what I'm doing right now, which is to just sing rhythms and practice getting comfortable with all of those different subdivisions, right? You almost sound like an MC, like a rapper, right? I mean, that's part of this. That's pure rhythm, especially with this type of feel. So I'm going to give the Patreon members the backing track. I'll give them a Trading Eights track, and I will give them the PDF with all of the voice leading on it. This one's going to be really fun. So on top of practicing that essential chord progression, which is basically modulating to the relative minor, you're going to be having fun with this feel, practicing a lot of rhythm too. Okay, before we get out of here, one more thing. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about, well, you know, what does the concert D minor 7 flat 5 and the G7 flat 9, what does it mean? Does that mean diminished? Does it mean altered? You know, which mode am I using over the 2 chord? What does the C minor 7 mean? Does it mean Aeolian? Does it mean Dorian? I mean, the whole point here is to play over this enough times and do enough experiments that you figure out what sounds the best. Because there actually is no definitive answer to that, right? The answer is yes. It's basically all those things, right? Or if the answer is no to any of those things, you just want to figure that out yourself. So do the experiments. That's really, really, really how you're going to get all the benefits of this. And sort of answer those questions yourself, if that makes sense. You know enough about theory, if you're even asking the question, that you can just run experiments and sort of go from there. So if you want to get your hands on all the materials, all the supporting materials from this episode, we are a listener-supported podcast, which means we don't do any kind of advertisements on the show. Instead, we rely on the people getting the benefits out of this stuff, you, the jazz student, to support us and keep this thing going. We do that through the Patreon platform in the form of a very small monthly donation. In return for that donation, you do get worksheets and practice tracks and all kinds of amazing stuff with every single episode. You also get access to our entire back catalog. So you can learn more about that and get yourself signed up for instant access to everything by going to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, and clicking on one of the Patreon banners, or you can go to patreon.com and you could search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson. You will see all of the stuff over there, the different donation levels, and all the information on what you get. Thank you so much if you choose to do that. That's really a big deal. Again, that's how we keep these shows coming out. And of course, to everybody over there supporting us, thank you. We could not do this without you. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll leave you off here with some saxophone playing over this chord progression, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Thank you.